Hello, I'm Orestria, and I'm playing Pheonix Wright. This is the Mixed Media Club theme for April. Yes, I know it's me. I have a 2,000 yen budget set aside for the Mixed Media Club, and even though this was the theme, it was 3,000 yen, but now it's on sale, so I bought it now, so I'm doing it now. I still don't... It's still too hot to bust out the proper lights. I don't care. It's vacation. Leave me alone. Alright, here we go. Episode 1, the first turnabout. Yes. I get an achievement just for literally opening the game. Damn it. Why me? I can't get caught. Not like this. I've got to find someone to pin this on. Someone like him. That's quite the boil. I'll make it look like he did it. It's pretty interesting if they're going to show me who did it. I thought the point was to figure that out. August 3rd, 9:47 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. Boy, am I nervous. Right. Hiya, Chief. Phew, I'm glad I made it on time. Well, I have to say, Pheonix, I'm impressed. Not everyone takes on a murder trial right off the bat like this. It says a lot about you, and your client as well. Thanks. Actually, it's because I owe him a favor. A favor? You mean you knew the defendant before this case? Yes. Actually, I kind of owe my current job to him. He's one of the reasons I became an attorney. Well, that's news to me. I want to help him out any way I can. I just really want to help him. I owe him that much. It's over. My life, everything. It's all over. Is that your client screaming over there? Yeah, that's him. Death, despair, oh, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna die. It sounds like he wants to die. Yeah. Nick! What is with Japanese people in the name Butts? Do they really think Butts is an American name? If you play Final Fantasy, you know what I'm talking about with Butts. Or maybe you don't, because it was localized as Barts in America. Hey there, Larry. Dude, I'm so guilty. Tell them I'm guilty. Give me the death sentence. I ain't afraid to die. What? What's wrong, Larry? Oh, it's all over. I'm finished. I can't live in a world without her. I can't. Who took her away from me, Nick? Who did this? Aw, Nick, you gotta tell me. Who took my baby away? The person responsible for your girlfriend's death. The newspapers say it was you. My name is Pheonix Wright. Here's the story. The first case is a fairly simple one. A young woman was killed in her apartment. The guy they arrested was the unlucky sap dating her, Larry Butts. My best friend since grade school. Our school had a saying, when something smells, it's usually Butts. In the 23 years I've known him, it's usually been true. He has a knack for getting himself in trouble. One thing I can say, though, it's usually not his fault. He just has terrible luck. But I know better than anyone that he's a good guy at heart. That, and I owe him one, which is why I took the case to clear his name. And that's just what I'm gonna do. August 3rd, 10 a.m. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Larry Butts. I can't do this in many voices. My voice is not here. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Ahem. Mr. Wright, this is your first trial, is it not? Yes, Your Honor. I'm a little nervous. Your conduct during this trial will decide the fate of your client. Murder is a serious charge. For your client's sake, I hope you can control your nerves. Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, given the circumstances, I think we should have a test to ascertain your readiness. Yes, Your Honor. Hand shaking, eyesight fading. The test will consist of a few simple questions. Answer them clearly and concisely. Please state the name of the defendant in this case. Larry Butts. The defendant? Well, that's Larry Butts, Your Honor. Correct. Just keep your wits about you and you'll do fine. Next question. This is a murder trial. Tell me, what's the victim's name? I know this one. Glad I read the case report cover so many times. It's... uh-oh. No way. I forgot. I'm drawing a total blank here. Pheonix, are you absolutely sure you're up for this? You don't even know the victim's name. The victim? Of course I know the victim's name. I just forgot temporarily. I think I feel a migraine coming on. Look, the victim's name is listed in the court record. Just press tab to check it at any time, okay? Remember to check it often. Do it for me, please. I'm begging you. Mr. Wright, who is the victim in this case? Cindy. Cindy Stone. Ah! I want it to be escape, not backspace. Cindy Stone. The victim's name is Cindy Stone. Correct. Now tell me, what was the cause of death? She died because she was hit with a blunt object. She was struck once by a blunt object. I saw that in the video where it showed me what happened. Correct. You've answered all my questions. I see no reason why we shouldn't proceed. You seem much more relaxed, Mr. Wright. Good for you. Thank you, Your Honor. Because I don't feel relaxed. Well then. First, a question for the prosecution. Mr. Payne. Yes, Your Honor. As Mr. Wright just told us, the victim was struck with a blunt object. Would you explain to the court just what that object was? The murder weapon was this statue of the Thinker. It was found lying on the floor next to the victim. I see. The court accepts it into evidence. Statue added to the court record. Right. Be sure to pay attention to any evidence added during the trial. That evidence is the only ammunition you have in court. Use tab to check the court record frequently. This was a poor idea of a video to make when I'm still recovering my voice. Mr. Payne, the prosecution may call its first witness. The prosecution calls the defendant, Mr. Butts, to the stand. Chief, what do I do now? Pay attention. You don't want to miss any information that might help your client's case. You'll get your chance to respond to the prosecution later, so be ready. Let's just hope he doesn't say anything unfortunate. Uh-oh. Larry gets excited easily. This could be bad. Ahem. Mr. Butts, is it not true that the victim had recently dumped you? Hey, watch it, buddy! We were great together. We were Romeo and Juliet, Cleopatra and Mark Antony. Didn't they all die? I wasn't dumped. She just wasn't taking my phone calls. Or seeing me. Ever. What's it to you anyway? Mr. Butts, what you described is generally what we mean by dumped. In fact, she had completely abandoned you and was seeing other men. She had just returned from overseas with one of them the day before the murder. What do you mean, one of them? Lies. All of it lies. I don't believe a word of it. Your Honor, the victim's passport. According to this, she was in Paris until the day before she died. Passport. The victim apparently arrived home from Paris on July 30th, the day before the murder. Indeed, she appears to have returned the day before the murder. Dude, no way. The victim was a model, but did not have a large income. It appears that she had several sugar daddies. Daddies? Sugar? Yes, older men who gave her money and gifts. She took their money and used it to support her lifestyle. Dude. We can clearly see what kind of woman this Miss Stone was. Tell me, Mr. Butts, what do you think of her now? Right. I don't think you want him to answer that question. Yeah, Larry has a way of running his mouth in all the wrong directions. Should I wait and see what happens, or stop him from answering? Well, given that Mia explicitly told me I shouldn't let him answer, my client had no idea the victim was seeing other men. That question is irrelevant to the case. Ooh. Dude, Nick, what do you mean irrelevant? That cheating she-dog. I'm gonna die. I'm just gonna drop dead. You mean both, Mr. Butts. Yeah, and when I meet her in the afterlife, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. Let's continue with the trial, shall we? I believe the accused's motive is clear to everyone. Yes, quite. Oh boy, this is not looking good. Next question. You went to the victim's apartment on the day of the murder, did you not? Well, did you or did you not? Well, maybe I did, and maybe I didn't. Oh, he went. What do I do? I mean, I don't know how in-depth the game goes. If there's forensic evidence of him being there, and he says he was there, but it wasn't a thing. I don't know. Whatever. You can answer honestly. It's fine. I'll send him a signal. Tell the truth. Yeah, I was there. I went. Order. Well, Mr. Butts. Dude, chill. She wasn't home, man, so, I didn't see her. Your Honor, the defendant is lying. Lying? The prosecution would like to call a witness who can prove Mr. Butts is lying. Well, that simplifies matters. Who is your witness? The man who found the victim's body, and just before making the gruesome discovery, he saw the defendant fleeing the scene of the crime. Order! Order in the court! Mr. Payne, the prosecution may call its witness. Yes, Your Honor. This is bad. On the day of the murder, my witness was selling newspapers at the victim's building. I mean, I guess a real lawyer would just try and get them not to answer any question. Please bring Mr. Frank Sawit to the stand. Oh, look at that shit-eating grin, too. Mr. Sawit, you sell newspaper subscriptions, is this correct? Oh, yes. What voice is that? Oh, yes. Newspapers, yes. Mr. Sawit, you may proceed with your testimony. Please tell the court what you saw on the day of the murder. Oh. There's a big flashing testimony sign. I was going door to door selling subscriptions when I saw a man fleeing an apartment. I thought he must be in a hurry because he left the door half open behind him. Thinking it strange, I looked inside the apartment. Then I saw her lying there, a woman, not moving, dead. I quailed in fright and found myself unable to go inside. I thought to call the police immediately. However, the phone in her apartment wasn't working. I went to a nearby park and found a public phone. The days before cell phones.
I remember the time exactly. It was 1 p.m. The man who ran was, without a doubt, the defendant sitting over there.
Larry, why didn't you tell the truth? I can't defend you against testimony like that. Incidentally, why wasn't the phone in the victim's apartment working?
Your Honor, at the time of the murder, there was a blackout in the building.
Aren't phones supposed to work during a blackout?
Yes, Your Honor. However, some cordless phones do not function normally. The phone that Mr. Sawit used was one of those. Your Honor, I have a record of the blackout for your perusal.
Blackout record. Electricity to Mrs. Stone's building was out from noon till 6 p.m. on the day of the crime. Now, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. You may begin your cross-examination. Cross-examination, Your Honor? All right, Wright. This is it. The real deal. What exactly am I supposed to do? Why, you exposed the lies in the testimony the witness just gave. Lies? What? He was lying?
Your client is innocent, right? Then that witness must have lied in his testimony. Or is your client really guilty?
How do I prove he's not?
You hold the key. It's in the evidence. Compare the witness's testimony to the evidence at hand. There's bound to be a contradiction in there. First, find contradictions between the court record and the witness's testimony. Then, once you've found the contradicting evidence, present it and rub it in the witness's face. Okay. Open the court record with tab.
Yes, thank you. So her time of death was between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m., which is during the blackout, but he said 1 p.m. Oh. Q is press. "1 p.m., are you certain?"
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
He seems really confident. 1 p.m.? Right, doesn't that seem strange to you? Present some evidence to contradict him. Present. You found the body at 1 p.m., you're sure?
Yes, it was 1 p.m. for certain.
Frankly, I find that hard to believe. Your statement directly contradicts the autopsy report. The autopsy notes the time of death at some time after 4 p.m. There was no body to find at 1 p.m. How do you explain this 3-hour gap?
Objection! This is trivial. The witness merely forgot the time.
After his testimony, I find that hard to believe. Mr. Sawit, why were you so certain that you found the body at 1 p.m.? Gee, that's a really good question. Great job, Wright. Way to put him on the spot. That's all you have to do. Point out contradictions. Lies beget more lies. See through one and the whole story falls apart. Wait, I remember now. Would you care to give your testimony again?
You see, when I found the body, I heard the time. There was a voice saying the time. It was probably coming from the television. Oh, but it was 3 hours off, wasn't it? I guess the victim must have been watching a video of a taped program. That's why I thought it was 1 p.m. Terribly sorry about the misunderstanding.
Well, the blackout contradicts that. I see. You heard a voice saying the time on a taped program. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. You know what to do. I sure do.
it right there. The prosecution has said there was a blackout at the time of the discovery. And this record proves it. You couldn't have heard a television or a video. Good. The defense has a point. Do you have an explanation for this, Mr. Sawit?
No, I find it quite puzzling myself. Wait, I remember now. Mr. Sawit, the court would prefer to hear an accurate testimony from the beginning. These constant corrections are harming your credibility. That and you seem rather distraught. My apologies, Your Honor. There must have been the shock of finding the body. Very well, Mr. Sawit. Let's hear your testimony once more, please. Actually, I didn't hear the time. I saw it. There was a table clock in the apartment, wasn't there? Yeah, the murder weapon. The killer used it to hit the victim. That must have been what I saw. Well, the table clock would... Well, I think of an alarm clock. I guess it could have been a non-alarm clock or something not plugged in, but... Oh good, you can't just click everything. Wait just a moment. The murder weapon wasn't a clock, it was this statue. Now how is this supposed to be a clock? You with your objections and your evidence, just who do you think you are? Just answer the question, Mr. Sawit. Hey, I saw it there, okay? That's a clock.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes, Mr. Payne.
As the witness stated, this statue is indeed a clock. The neck is a switch. You just tilt it, and it says the time out loud. As it doesn't look like a clock, I submitted it as a statue. My apologies.
I see. So the murder weapon was a table clock after all. Well, Mr. Wright, it appears that the witness's testimony was correct. This is a clock. Do you have any problems with this testimony now? Yes. Your Honor, there's a gaping hole in the witness's testimony. The only way he could have known the weapon was a clock is to hold it in his hand. Yet the witness testified that he never entered the apartment. Clearly a contradiction. Indeed. The witness knew it was a clock because he went into the apartment. You were inside the apartment on the day of the murder. Oh yeah? Prove it. Prove I went in there. I'll do better than that. I can prove you were the one who killed her. You struck her with the clock, and the shock of the blow triggered the clock's voice. That was the sound you heard. Order in the court? Intriguing. Please continue, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Sawit, the sound must have left quite an impression on you. Understandable, since the murder weapon spoke as you hit the victim. That voice was burned into your mind. That's why you're so certain about the time.
Objection. Well, what's the meaning of this? This is all baseless conjecture.
Baseless? Just look at the witness's face. Would the witness care to elaborate? Did you strike the victim with the clock?
That day, I never... Look, the clock, I heard, no, I mean, I saw... Shut up, I hate you. It was him, I tell you, I saw him. He killed her, and he should burn. Even death.
Order. Order in the court, I say.
Your Honor, a moment, please. There isn't a shred of evidence supporting the defense's claims.
Mr. Wright, Your Honor, you claim the sound of the witness heard came from the clock. Do you have any evidence? The whole case is riding on this. I better think it through carefully. Your Honor, the sound Mr. Sawit heard was definitely the clock. A fact which is clear if you simply... I assume it's if you try sounding the clock, because you have to put your hand on the thing. Or the clock's batteries, because it shows it was working during the blackout. I don't think ask the neighbors makes any sense. Both of these make sense to me. That's why it's hard. And I don't know how this game's, like, logic functions yet. You can't, like, go back and see the previous text. It was definitely the sound that he heard. Let's sound the clock now. Have the court listen very carefully. I think it's 8:25. I think it's 8:25. That certainly is a strange way to announce the time. Well, he is the thinker after all. So we've heard the clock. What are your conclusions, Mr. Wright? Mr. Payne, can you tell me what time it is now? It's 11:25. As you can see, this clock is exactly 3 hours slow. Precisely the discrepancy between what Mr. Sowett heard and the actual time of death. So, Mr. Sowett, try to talk your way out of this one. You forgot one thing. Uh-oh, what's he talking about now? Well, it might seem like the clock is running 3 hours slow. It proves nothing. How do you know it was running 3 hours slow on the day of the murder? If you can't prove that, you don't have a case. How am I going to prove that? I assume it's to do with Paris. I come all the way down here to testify, and look at what happens. You treat me like a criminal. A criminal. You lawyers are all the same. I almost had him. Sorry, Larry, I failed you. There's nothing I can do about it now. What? Not so fast, Mr. Sowett. Chief. Listen up, Wright. Don't throw this one away. Not like this. Think. But, Chief, it's over. I can't prove the clock was slow on the day of the murder. Nobody can prove that. Well, yes. But that doesn't mean you can't still win. Try thinking out of the box. Don't waste time doubting the facts. Assume the clock was 3 hours slow and think it through. Ask yourself, why was the clock 3 hours slow? Because Paris. I have no idea where we are, but... Figure out the reason and you'll have your proof. Right? Can you think of a reason as to why the clock would be 3 hours slow? Wait, maybe I can prove it. You must have evidence somewhere that can prove it, right? Find it and let them have it. Well, Mr. Wright, you say the clock was already running slow on the day of the murder. We found evidence to support this claim. Of course, there's a piece of evidence in the court record that can prove my claim beyond a doubt. Tough words. Let's see you pull this one off. Let's see this evidence that proves why the clock was running slow. It's gotta be the passport. The victim had just returned home from abroad the day before the murder. As we all know, the time difference between here and Paris is 9 hours. When it's 4 p.m. here, it's 1 a.m. the next day there. The clock wasn't 3 hours slow, it was 9 hours fast. The victim hadn't reset her clock since returning home. That's why the time you heard when you struck her dead in her apartment was wrong. Proof enough for you, Mr. Sowett? Or should I say, Mr. Did It? Alright. Bye. Order. Order, I say. Well, this case has certainly turned out differently than we all expected. Mr. Payne, your witness. He was arrested and has been taken away, Your Honor. Very well. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. I have to say I'm impressed. I don't think I've ever seen someone complete a defense so quickly and find the true culprit at the same time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
At this point, this is only a formality, but this court finds the defendant, Mr. Larry Butts, not guilty. And with that, this court is adjourned. Turns out that Frank Sawit was a common burglar. He posed as a newspaper salesman to check and see when people were out of the house. That day, when Larry went to her apartment, the victim wasn't home. After he left, Mr. Sawit let himself in to do his dirty work. While he was searching her place, the victim returned. Flustered, Mr. Sawit grabbed the nearest blunt object he could find. August 3rd, 2:32 p.m. Phew, still can't believe we won.
Right, good job in there. Congratulations.
Thanks, Chief. I owe it all to you.
Not at all, not at all. You fought your own battles in there. It's been a while since I've seen a trial end on such a satisfying note.
I've never seen the Chief looking this happy. If she's this glad, imagine how Larry must feel. My life is over.
Larry, you're supposed to be happy. What's wrong now?
Aw, Nick. Don't worry about me. I'll be dead and gone soon.
Good. Wait, no. I mean, bad. Larry, you're innocent. The case is closed.
But my Cindy Wendy's gone, man. Gone forever.
Larry, she was... Never mind. Congratulations, Harry.
Harry?
Yes, you. I can practically see the headlines now. Harry Butts, innocent.
Thanks. I really owe you one. I won't forget this, ever. Let's celebrate. Dinner, movie, my treat.
Oh, no, I couldn't.
Hey, I was the one who got you off the hook.
Oh, hey. Here, take this. It's a present. A present? For me?
Wait, wasn't this the evidence that... Actually, I made this clock for her. I made one for her and one for me.
Really? You made this? Well, thank you. I'll keep it as a memento.
Yo, Nick. Can you believe it? I was so into that chick. And she was playing me for a fool. Don't that make you just want to cry?
Larry. Are you so sure?
Excuse me?
I think she thought quite a lot of you in her own way.
Nah, you don't gotta sympathize with me. It's okay.
Oh, I'm not just sympathizing, really. Isn't that right, Wright? Don't you have something to show your friend? Something that proves how she felt about him?
Huh? Oh yeah, right. What the heck is she talking about? The fact that she still has the clock? Check this out, Larry. Proof positive that you weren't some chump to her. What about the clock? This is the clock that you made for her, Larry. And she took it with her when she traveled. Whatever, she probably just needed a clock, that's all. You think so? It's a pretty heavy clock to take traveling. Well, make of it what you will. Hey, Nick. I'm glad I asked you to be my lawyer. Really, I am. Thanks. Hope that made him feel a little better.
Right? I hope you see the importance of evidence now.
Also, hopefully you realize things change depending on how you look at them. People too, we never really know if our clients are guilty or innocent. All we can do is believe in them. And in order to believe in them, you have to believe in yourself.
Right? Listen, learn, grow strong. Never let go of what you believe in. Never.
Well, I think our work here is done. Shall we be off? Yes, this has been a really long post-amble. Really long post-amble. Yeah, I guess so.
Say, how about dinner? On me. We'll drink a toast to innocent butts.
Yeah!
Oh, speaking of Harry.
You were saying part of why you became a lawyer was because of him.
Yeah, part at least. You have to tell me more about it sometime. Maybe over drinks?
Turned into the defense, the prosecutor. And so my first trial came to a close. Larry slapped me on the back and said, "Gee, Nick, it's good to have friends. I'm pretty sure he's not going to pay us. Unless you count the clock he gave me." I didn't know it then, but that clock was soon going to be at the center of another incident. And my promise to tell the chief about me and Larry would be one promise I wouldn't be able to keep. Oh no. Something's gonna happen to Mia. Alright. Next time I record this, I'm not gonna do voices. That made it much harder than it had to be. But you can like this video, subscribe for more, follow me at twitter.com/Orestria. You can talk to me about it at the Mixed Media Club in the Tales from My D&D Campaign Discord. Link in the doobly-doo. Even though I'm a month late. Alright, see you next time. Bye-bye.